Okay, so I am here with Abhay Deol and Aryan Simhadri. Abhay, you play Arvind, Ria's dad in the movie Spin. You play a very influential figure in Ria's life and choices. Obviously, there are a lot of stereotypes of Indian parents being strict disciplinarians. Did you ignore those stereotypes, or were they a part of how you formed your character?
Well, the story was written by me, and that's what I liked about it when I read the script. And it's also, of course, a lot of Manjri's influence on how this character was portrayed. And look, any culture will have all sorts. And I think this film is important simply because it breaks the stereotypes. So while yes, there could be a certain Asianness to Asian cultures, a certain Europeanness to European cultures, an Americanness, I'm calling it ness just to generalize it. There'll always be different people within those folds, you could find strict parents even in American culture as much as you'd find liberal ones, and vice versa back in India. So I think it's important to sort of explore other characters that you never would see, because those characters do exist. It's not like they don't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And where would you say your character falls on the spectrum? Is he like a liberal father or a strict father?
No, he's definitely more progressive than most people. And it's not just in the context of Indians. I think he's progressive as a human being set up with any sort of ethnic community or non-ethnic community, if that's such a thing. And what was the second part of the question?
And is he more liberal or more strict, and like how does that influence his character?
Yeah, so he is progressive, but he still is a father. So he would have certain rules that he would want his kids to follow. He'd be strict about them, not because he isn't progressive, but just because they're kids. The kids, and they need his guidance. And there are many things that they aren't aware of. So it's trying to find that fine balance between being progressive, but also not so much that you don't let your children understand that this world is also about authority.
Yes.
You can't just let them loose, right? They have to understand everything. They have to see the good and the bad. They need to be protected as much as they need to be sent out in the world to protect themselves.
Yes. So Aryan, you play Abhay's son in the movie. You are Rohan, and your character in the film suggests the idea of tikka masala tacos or tik tacos, a fusion of Indian cuisine and tacos. As someone who grew up as Indian American, have there been moments in your life where you have blended the American and Indian cultures you grew up with?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I sing, and so I think my first proper like introduction to singing was actually like Indian Carnatic singing. And that kind of propelled me along this path of, hey, I like this. So I think even now I'm using techniques and stuff that I've learned from that and fusing it with whatever I'm learning today. And I think that definitely helped me a lot. Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff in my life, like with food, even that I kind of unknowingly blend into, my life today.
How do you think the movie did with balancing the American and Indian cultures, especially for kids like you who are growing up in this world of new advancements in how the world treats Indian and AAPI communities?
Mhm. I think what I really liked was the fact that there wasn't this overplay, like very classic stereotype of, oh, the Indian girl has to choose between her Indian and American sides. It wasn't very like overstated that she's like, I'm Indian and I'm proud of that. I find that's a very common used trope in a lot of Indian movies. And I was happy to see that it wasn't like that. It wasn't overstated or oversaturated. It was just there. It was just nonchalant that she was able to kind of blend those two cultures together, which was something I was really happy to see.
So for both of you, what message through the film do you want to send to the Indian American community and youth?
I think something that I hope people take away is, I know sometimes like pursuing things that you're interested in, there's sometimes there might not be the support that you need, or maybe it just seems like an unrealistic goal. But if you kind of stick to it and explore like within the boundaries of that, what you think you can comfortably achieve, and, have a discussion with anybody who's close to you, if you're willing to find that support and willing to pursue it, I honestly think you can make it happen. And I hope that that's something that a lot of viewers might take away from this movie.
And what about you, Abhay?
Well, I would hope that people would see that it's so important as a family to support one another, and it's easy sometimes to miss or to misunderstand. So as I was telling somebody else, the saying that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Mm-hmm. So, you as a parent might have good intentions for your child, but if you don't allow them to go out there into the world and make their own mistakes, you would stop them from finding their own unique personality. And so while it is important to guide them, it's also important to sort of let go of them as well at the same time. And dialogue is important. Mm-hmm. Don't treat your kids like children, treat them like young people, and they might guide you sometimes.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure being here with you, and thank you for taking out your time to talk to me. So I think that's it.
All right, love, take care.
Much.